Peace to the family, was goody? It's your boy back with another episode. I'm your host, Jody Wins. Welcome to the Jody Wins Show. Hey, yo, we back. You know, we had to take a little break. Took like 2 weeks. I think it was like 2 weeks. My birthday, me and my son's birthday was last week. So we was out here turning it up. We both was born on the 15th of May. He too. You know, shout out to my nigga. But we back. You know, we got some sports. We got some basketball to talk about. Shout out to the league. Shit was cracking over this time that I was gone. But we going to start off with it. First, like, share, and subscribe. Let's get it. So we had OKC go against Denver, Game 7. OKC won 125-93. Smoked them by 30. SGA had 35. Joker had 29 and 7. Jalen Williams had 24, 5 and 7. You know, it was over from the jump. I mean, it was close in the beginning, then OKC just ran off. You know what I mean? So OKC advanced to the Western Conference Finals, first time in a while. I think last time they went, it was Durant and Westbrook. Denver at home. You know, what's next for Denver? Denver need to get rid of... So MPJ got to be gone. MPJ got to be gone. He not like that. His money, he ain't worth the money that he getting paid. Jamal Murray, he been struggling all year. He been inconsistent all year. Every now and then he'll show up 30, 40, but like he ain't been consistent. So I don't know if that mean, you know, get rid of Murray. You know, try to find somebody. You know what I mean? Murray for Trae Young. You know, that's just me. Put Murray on there for Trae Young. You know, trade MPJ and Christian Braun to the Suns. You know, and a pick to the Suns for KD. You know what I mean? That's just me. You know, because that's just me. So shout out to OKC. That's going to be a good Western Conference Finals, Denver versus Minnesota. Yep. We had New York beat Boston 119-81. Brunson had 23, 6 and 6. OG had 23 and 9. Bridges had 22. Cat had 21 and 12. And Hart even put up a triple dub, 10, 11, and 11. For the Celtics, Jaylen Brown had 26 and 6. You know, there was a poor. It was like 8 for 20. You know what I mean? Tatum, you know, y'all know he went down with it. I mean, his Achilles. Messed up his Achilles. I seen the video, like, bro, he went down. I was like, I don't want to look at that because I don't like looking at niggas get hurt. That shit is like, I got a weak stomach. You feel me? But you know what's crazy, bro, is everybody that tore their Achilles, they drop down to the ground. You know, they can't get up. All this other shit, you know what I mean? No disrespect. I ain't never had a Achilles injury. But everybody just dropped down. Except the one motherfucker that didn't drop down. Kobe Bean Bryant. That's crazy. Bro, Kobe tore his Achilles. Managed to get up. Walk to the free throw line by himself. Knock down 2 free throws. Knock down 2 of them. And walk off the court. Everybody else, they drop. They got to get carried off the court. You know, the wheelchair, all this. Kobe is that nigga. That show you that Kobe was different. That nigga Kobe was different, bro. Dame tore his Achilles. This playoffs, he dropped down, had to be carried off. KD, years ago, tore his Achilles. Dropped down, had to be carried off. Tatum tore his Achilles. Dropped down, had to be carried off. Kobe tore his Achilles. I'm about to go shoot these free throws. That's Kobe. That's the Mamba mentality. Shout out, rest in peace to my nigga Kobe. The most disrespected nigga. One of the most disrespected niggas in NBA history. Shout out to New York, though, for getting that dub. Jaylen Brown. There's people that think Jaylen Brown is the leader of the Celtics. He the number one option. He had this was his opportunity to show. You know what I mean? And he went 8 for 20. So, yeah. You know, shout out to Jason Tatum. Hope my nigga get well. We already know what it is. I know they got eliminated, but now Jaylen Brown had a meniscus tear whether you believe it or not, it is what it is. I felt like he wasn't as aggressive like towards the last couple games of the regular season and in the playoffs. He wasn't really like that. It's like he wasn't trying. The meniscus, maybe that's why. Boston get well soon. I mean, I don't know. They might need to make some changes. I would get rid of Porzingis, you know what I mean? Because he wasn't even available like that. I know y'all won the ring last year, but, he wasn't available like that last year. He ain't been available like that this year. Maybe Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday kind of getting up there in age. He's still a good defender, but you can package up Porzingis and Drew Holiday. I mean, probably get a star, probably get Kevin Durant, I feel like if you going to get Porzingis, and you might as well try to get Embiid, you know what I mean? If you going to get Porzingis and let him just sit out, If he can just sit out and y'all use him when y'all feel like it's important to use him, you might as well get Embiid. You might as well get Embiid, let that nigga sit out. He already sitting out anyway, let that nigga sit out. You can't lose nothing. And Embiid is a bigger threat than Porzingis, so you might as well get that nigga Embiid if you're going to get a center that can sit out damn near the entire season and just be available when you need him. But shout out to Boston. Shout out to New York for getting that dub. Eastern Conference, they advanced into the Eastern Conference Championship. They're going against Indiana. That's going to be crazy. That's a big rivalry. The fans of New York been turning up. Them niggas been turning up crazy, jumping on top of street lights, jumping off street lights, climbing up buildings. You know what I mean? Brian Windhorst was walking. A fan was like, "How you think? What you feel about Boston?" Pause. What you feel about Boston getting 6? Get eliminated at 6. He finna talk. He said, "We don't give a fuck, nigga." Nigga was going. That shit was funny. Shout out to Brian Windhorst though. He had a good attitude about it. He was like, "I don't give a fuck, pussy." They was chewing on that. But Knicks been wilding. There was a fan walking around with an Indiana jersey, bro. They was throwing shit at him. They was fucking with him. Nigga had a Boston jersey on. They was fucking with him. And the New York fans is wicked right now. And if New York win, this up. It's up if New York win. I might have to take a trip. You know what I mean? Because they gonna be up. The Western Conference Finals. We here with the Final Four of the NBA now. OKC versus Wolves. That's gonna be a wild game. The young boys. SGA versus Ant-Man. That's a good matchup. OKC a good defensive team, but so is Minnesota. What they gonna do? Who they gonna put on Ant-Man? Lou Dort or Jalen Williams? Who they gonna put on Julius Randle? Because Julius Randle been balling in these playoffs. So Julius Randle. Who they gonna put? Jalen Williams. You can't put Chet on him. He gonna cook Chet. Chet too little. Chet built like a cigarette. So I don't know. You know what I mean? Who they gonna put on Ant-Man? Who they gonna put on SGA? McDaniels, maybe Jaden McDaniels. Bro, it's DiVincenzo. You know what I mean? Like DiVincenzo. Cat. I think Julius Randle can guard Cat. Or Nas Reed can guard Cat. So you know what I mean. It's gonna be a good series. We got New York going against Indiana. That's a great rivalry, historic rivalry. A lot of people writing off Indiana because they ain't really like that. You know what I mean? They ain't really got no stars like that. I mean, Tyrese Halliburton is a star, but he ain't no Jalen Brunson. You know what I mean? They can put Mikal Bridges on Tyrese Halliburton. You know what I mean? But that's gonna be a good series, good rivalry. It's been a long ride for the Golden State Warriors, especially for Jonathan Kuminga. Last season or the beginning of the season or last season, they offered him a contract. He thought he was worth more, so he didn't sign it. So they started fucking with him. They benched him. Steve Kerr put him on the bench. You know what I mean? Didn't play him like that this year. So Steph Curry got hurt. You know what I mean? So they had to play him, and Kuminga dropped 34, 30. Now the Warriors talking about they want to bring Kuminga back. If I was Kuminga, I wouldn't want to sign back with the Warriors because Steve Kerr been playing with me all year. So at last season, they was like, oh, this is Kuminga's team after Curry leave, you know what I mean? Because Curry getting old. And once he didn't sign that contract, they tried to put Pajinski in front of that nigga, and Pajinski ain't even like that. That nigga's ass. But since Kuminga dropped 34 and 30 and 23 in these playoffs, now they want him back. Hopefully, he gonna test the water. You know what I mean? Hopefully, he go get an offer. Golden State can match it. He should try to talk to the team that offer him and tell them to front load the money. Like, if they give me $150 million, do the first year I get $60 million. You know what I mean? So Warriors can't match that because they'll be out of the cap. And then boom, you know what I mean? But shout out to Jonathan Kuminga. That nigga was a pro. You know, he stayed ready, even though Steve Kerr was playing with my nigga name. Shout out to Jonathan Kuminga. You know what I mean? I think Warriors need to make some changes, though. You know, I honestly think they need to get off of Draymond. You know, I think this upcoming year is his last year. They need to get off of Draymond. You already got rid of Clay, so you might as well get off of Draymond. The WNBA came back this past weekend. You know, shout out to the dub. And we had some good games. Yesterday we had Washington go against Washington go against Connecticut. Washington had 90. Connecticut had 85. Sykes had 27 and 7. She was out there cooking. Urafin from UFC, the rookie, she had 17 and 14. She was out there cooking. For Connecticut, Charles had 23 and 10. You know, smacked them by 5. It was a good game, good ending. You know, I don't want to say poor shooting from 3, but yeah, it was kind of like some poor shooting from 3. We had Minnesota go against the Sparks. Minnesota won 89 and 75. Nafisa Collier, she had 23 and 6. For the Sparks, Stevens had 21 and 6, and Hamby had 20 and 10. We had Indiana. This was the game of the weekend for the Dub NBA. You know, we had the young stars, Indiana Fever go against the Chicago Sky. Indiana Fever won 93-58. Kalen Clark, a triple dub. Started the season with a triple dub, 20, 10, and 10. Aaliyah Boston had 19 and 13. Howard and Mitchell both scored 15, so they had some scoring from scoring from multiple players. You know, shout out to Indiana Fever. For the Sky, Angel Reese, another double dub, 12 and 17. During that game, there was an altercation. You know, Angel Reese, Kalen Clark, Angel Reese got the offensive rebound, went back up to put it back in. Kalen Clark fouled her, gave her a little shove in the back. Angel Reese wasn't having that shit. She got up like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You crazy? Kalen Clark tried to play innocent and walk off. Kalen Clark tried to walk off like nothing happened. Angel Reese was not having that shit. You know, she was talking crazy. She was fired up. And later at the end of the game, Kellen Clark was like, it was just a play. It wasn't malicious. You know, all this other shit. You know, that's going to be the rivalry. You know, Angel Reese versus Kalen Clark. You know, every time they play each other, it's going to get wicked. You know what I mean? Especially with the fans, you know. The fans is wild. You know, Kalen Clark fans is wild. You know, like, I'm a fan of both of them. I'm a fan of Kalen Clark. I'm a fan of Angel Reese. But the fans that Kalen Clark got is kind of wicked, bro. Like, it's just, you smell clan every time. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not even trying to be disrespectful, but like, if you get on the internet and you see a post about Angel Reese, Kalen Clark fans is in the post. You know, oh, she she be crying and da. It's always something. So that's a rivalry. You know, the fans make it about race. Speaking of race, the WNBA is investigating racial comments towards Angel Reese in that game. You know, it get wicked. You know, Kalen Clark fans is wild. Like I said, I'm a fan of Kalen Clark and I'm a fan of Angel Reese. Kalen Clark, I mean, she can shoot. You know what I mean? She can shoot. Angel Reese, she be grabbing boards. You know, she not even a real scorer yet, but she can get better with scoring. But she's already a beast on the boards or rebounding and shit like that. It's just the fans. The fans get crazy. Like, it don't matter what post you get on the Angel Reese. the fans get wicked. And it's like that for Caitlin Clark too. You know, you go on a Caitlin Clark post, it's somebody in the comments talking about, well, she the leader, she led all rookies in turnovers, you know what I mean? And I understand it because the media don't put that out, you know what I mean? They don't put out, oh, she led the league in turnovers. You know, she got the most turnovers for any rookie in her rookie season. You know, they don't say that. So the Angel Reese fans be going in. Every post about Caitlin Clark, they can say the post can be about Caitlin Clark had a triple-double. It can say Caitlin Clark had a triple-double, she shot 100%, whatever. Somebody gonna hop in the comments, an Angel Reese fan gonna hop in the comments, well, she led the league in turnovers last year. She didn't win a national championship, blah, 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 blah. You know, when the post is about Angel Reese, oh, she breaks the double-double record. A Caitlin Clark fan. She can't shoot. She's classless. She's da-da-da-da-da. So it's hate on both sides. But them Caitlin Clark fans, it's just clan. It smells like clan. No disrespect, but I'm just telling y'all what I see. Other than that, it's entertainment. It's going to be a good rivalry for years to come. You know what I mean? Angel Reese, you know. Caitlin Clark got all the NCAA records. You know what I mean? Angel Reese was a national champion. Caitlin Clark didn't do that. I think Caitlin Clark didn't win in high school. Angel Reese won in high school. They had this unrivaled league. Angel Reese won in that. You know what I mean? So Angel Reese been out here winning rings. But like I said, shout out to both ladies. You know what I mean? It's just the race part, you know, the fans don't, you know what I mean? It get racist. It smells nothing like racism from both sides. But like I said, shout out to Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. They putting eyes on the WNBA. We had the Phoenix Mercury go against the Seattle Storm. Phoenix won 81-59. Sabali had 27-6. Thomas had 27-6. 27-6. Sabali had 27-6. For Seattle, Skylar Diggins had 21. No, this is the Phoenix Mercury first game without Diana Taurasi, and they got a dub. That's crazy. You know, when you think of Phoenix Mercury, you think of Diana Taurasi. 20 plus years. You know what I mean? Their first game without her, they got a dub. So hopefully they keep it up. We had the New York Liberty go against the Las Vegas Aces. B. Stu had 25-8. Cloud had 22-6-9. Asia Wilson, you know what I mean, still hooping. She had 31-19. She proving that she the best player in the league. Still the best player in the league. And she's putting her case for being the GOAT. You know what I mean? We got some games in the WNBA tonight. You know, we got the Seattle Storm versus the Dallas Wings. We're going to see Skylar Diggins against Paige Buckner. Enrique Ngumbawambe. That's a dynamic duo that I'm looking forward to see. Shout out to the WNBA. Shout out to those games. I'm going to go with I think Dallas going to get that game. But that's all we finna get into today. Like, share, and subscribe. We out. Peace.